If you are watching this right now, it is not a coincidence. There is a reason you clicked on this video. Because what I'm about to reveal, most people never realize until it's already affecting their life. You pray, you believe, you try to stay strong, but still, something feels off, strange delays, unexplained fear, things not going your way. And you start asking yourself, why is this happening to me? What if I told you that it's not just about whether you pray, but when you pray? Because there are specific times, moments in the day, when your prayer becomes more powerful, and moments when it becomes weak. And there are even times when the spiritual world reacts instantly to your words. I know this, not because I read it somewhere, because I lived on the other side. There was a time when I was deeply involved in things I didn't fully understand: dark practices, high rituals, spiritual systems that most people think don't even exist. And one thing became very clear to me: there are certain times when people who walk in darkness lose their power completely. Times when even the strongest negative forces cannot stand against a simple prayer. And those are the times they don't want you to know. So today, Abe, I'm going to reveal the 3 prayer times that witches fear the most. Listen carefully, because this could change everything for you. The first prayer time is the moment just before you fall asleep. Most people treat this moment casually. They scroll their phones, they watch random videos, they fall asleep without thinking. But what you don't realize is this is one of the most spiritually sensitive moments of your entire day. Because when your body begins to rest, your mind becomes open. And when your mind becomes open, your spirit becomes vulnerable. This is why so many people experience strange dreams, nightmares, the sleep paralysis, a feeling like something is watching them. Because at that moment, your defenses are down. And this is exactly why dark forces try to operate during this time. But here's what they don't want you to know: if you pray right before sleep, with intention, with awareness, you completely change what happens next. Instead of being vulnerable, you become protected. Instead of being open to attack, you become surrounded. I remember clearly, there were moments when certain people were completely untouchable. No matter what was attempted, nothing worked. And the reason was simple: they had a habit of praying before sleep. Not casually, not half asleep, but intentionally. They would speak words of protection. They would clear their mind. They would focus. And it created something like a barrier, something that couldn't be easily broken. So if you've been ignoring this moment, if you've been going to sleep without awareness, you might be leaving a door open. But the moment you change this habit, you close that door. The second prayer time is early in the morning, before the world fully wakes up. There is something powerful about the early hours, before the noise, before the distractions, before the stress of the day begins. This is a moment of clarity, and spiritually, it's a moment of alignment. But here's what most people don't understand: when you wake up, your mind is in a neutral state, not yet influenced by negativity, not yet overwhelmed. And what you do in that moment sets the direction for your entire day. If you wake up and immediately check your phone, you lose that power. If you wake up and rush into stress, you miss that opportunity. But if you take even a few minutes to center yourself, to pray, to focus your thoughts, you create a foundation. And this foundation affects everything. I've seen it again and again. People who start their day with intention move differently, they react differently, they think differently, and most importantly, they are harder to influence because they are already aligned. And this is exactly why this time is feared, because when you start your day in strength, it becomes much harder to break you later. The third prayer time is one that many people have heard about and very few truly understand, and that is around the middle of the night. Now, this doesn't mean you have to wake up every night, but there is something about this time that is deeply significant. It is quiet, it is still, and it is a moment when distractions are at their lowest. This is why many people who are sensitive find themselves waking up during this time, not randomly, repeatedly. And they don't understand why. They feel restless, they feel alert. Even though it's late, what if I told you this might not be random? What if it's an opportunity? Because during this time, your focus becomes sharper, your awareness increases, and your connection becomes stronger. But here's the truth: most people ignore it, they turn over, they go back to sleep, they miss the moment. But those who use this time, even briefly, experience something different: a sense of clarity, a sense of peace, a sense of strength. And over time, this builds something powerful. Now you might be thinking, is it really that simple? And the answer is yes and no. Because it's not just about when you pray, it's also about how you pray. If your mind is distracted, if your words are empty, impact is weak. But when your intention is clear, when your focus is strong, everything changes. Let me tell you something important. Fear itself is one of the biggest doors. When you live in fear, you weaken yourself. But when you become aware, you strengthen yourself. This is not about being afraid. This is about being informed, because once you know, you can act. So, starting today, change three simple things. Before you sleep, take a moment and pray with intention. When you wake up, don't rush, take a moment and align yourself. And if you ever find yourself awake in the night, don't ignore it completely. Even a few seconds can make a difference. You don't need complicated rituals. You don't need fear. All you need is awareness, consistency, and intention. Because in the end, it's not about fighting something unseen, it's about strengthening what's already within you. If this message reached you, there is a reason. Don't ignore it. Take action and protect your peace. Subscribe, because there are more truths that most people never talk about. And the more you know, stronger you become.